Hey there, buddy.
Well, hello.
What you up to?
Just watched the most amazing movie.
Are you talking about the masterpiece that is Resident Evil Executor?
Of course. What else?
Oh man, there's so much great Resident Evil cinema that I just had to double check which one you're talking about.
I know. It might even top my favorite movie, Morbius.
Dude, speaking of Morbius, have you seen? I'm assuming you've seen all the crap about Madam Web.
Oh, I've like randomly seen like stuff right here and there. Just the no-name Spider-Man going around and everything. Yeah.
Okay, so I have had zero interest in seeing this movie. Uh, but my wife, she notoriously likes bad movies. Like she, okay, like just to like put the put the example out. I don't know how familiar you are. Have you seen all the Transformer movies?
I watched a couple of it. I don't think I watched like the last like three.
She thinks that the Mark Wahlberg ones are the best ones, and
Any
she
reason in
also
particular?
said that Bumblebee sucked.
Okay, I have not watched Bumblebee.
Oh my god. Okay, so I had not watched Bumblebee until the my favorite podcast is the Kind of Funny podcast, and
Yeah.
they do these little review series where they go through and they'll like pick a movie franchise and they'll have an episode per movie and like go and rank and review them. It's really where I got the whole idea for the premise of ranking and reviewing the Resident Evil games. And they did a series on it, and I watched. I had only seen the original trilogy of Transformers movies, and when I finally got to Bumblebee, I was like, "Oh man, this is what a good Transformers movie is supposed to be." Because okay, so Transformers one, okay, that's an okay movie. Two was horrible, and then three they brought it back. Three they're like, okay, this is good again, and then just four and five were just like these 1-2 punches of truly terrible movies, and my wife loves them. So tying
I
it
mean,
back,
I was
oh, go
gonna
ahead.
ask, did you make her watch Black Sheep?
Black Sheep. Are you talking about uh, is that the movie where the politician, like the Chris Farley movie, Black Sheep? Is that the one you're talking about?
No, just a bad movie where what's it called? There's like random like super what's it called? There was like the radioactive sheep that like turned all the sheep evil.
Okay, I have not seen that, but I get where you're going with
You
this.
have watched it. We watched it together, dude. You're the one who
Oh,
showed me that movie.
oh my God, that you know what, that checks out. I just don't remember it at all.
That was in high
Uh,
school.
uh, but I don't mean like bad movies, like like movies that are like so bad that like they're funny. Like she hates those kinds of movies. She just genuinely
Oh,
enjoys movies that are horrible sometimes. Uh, and Madam Web, she kind of convinced. She turned my perspective around because she's like, "Didn't you watch Morbius and think that it was so bad that it was funny?" It's like, "Yeah, I did." So like, she kind of like brought me back. It's like maybe I do want to go see Madam Web. And I looked at the Metacritic; it is sitting at a 28.
damn.
Just for reference, Morbius was like a 37.
That makes sense. I mean, Morbius is Morbius.
Yeah, I mean, I'll never forget watching that movie because Emily had gone somewhere. I don't remember where, but I think she had gone to like a friend's. It was like a friend's birthday party or something at their house,
Yeah.
and I had to stay. I had to stay home and watch the kids. But I remember just sitting and watching this like that movie, and being like, "What am I looking at right this second? What am I watching?"
I mean, it was
But
kind of like a blast from the past from like those bad like superhero movies from the old days.
well, even the bad superhero movies from the old days, I feel like weren't that bad.
I don't know. Have you rewatched a couple lately?
Okay, so recently I rewatched the original Spider-Man trilogy, and those do not hold up.
Hey, hey,
and
hey, hey.
those were the quote unquote good movies.
Yeah, just but like think about movies like Daredevil or Elektra.
Okay, so fun fact: I never watched I maybe watched Daredevil once, but I remember nothing about it. And Elektra, I never saw it.
Oh man, you're missing out.
And okay, so like I know I've seen the Blade movies, but I don't remember anything about those either.
I mean, I thought Blade 1 was pretty good. The rest were like,
And I mean, continuing on the superhero movies of that time, like I know I've seen the OG Fantastic Four movies, but again, like all I remember is like I remember Jessica Alba was in it, and I remember Silver Surfer was a character in the second one, but
yeah.
I don't remember them, and I never watched I think it was like the 2015 Fantastic Four reboot that they did.
Oh, I heard that one sucked.
Yeah, it was so bad that okay, uh, you remember Nico, right?
Yeah, I remember Nico.
Okay, so I think it was Nico, but he had posted the original Suicide Squad movie, the 2016 one that everybody hated. He said,
Yeah.
"Look, it's not great, but it's not nearly as bad as everybody said." And then he went to, I'm almost certain it was him. He went to watch that Fantastic Four movie in theaters. He's like, "Don't even bother."
Damn.
So I took that to heart. I never bothered. And
Yeah.
continuing on through that, again, kind of funny, got me to do this. They like I went back and watched all the X-Men movies, like like the original trilogy, and then like X-Men Origins Wolverine, and then like the whole slew of new movies that they did.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking that X-Men 1 and X2, uh, I remember thinking those movies were really good when I was a kid, but then watching them as an adult, I was like, man, these do not hold up at all. And
They
then
did not age that well. Yeah, I know.
the last stand was just horrible. But
But
again,
he
talking
had the
about
bridge scene.
the freaking bridge scene. Uh, that's again, my wife loves the Last Stand the most,
Oh god.
and
Well,
also
at least she doesn't
she's
like Wolverine, X-Men Origins Wolverine, because that
I
man, that's just so bad.
okay. I don't know if she like it, and she also said that Dark Phoenix was a really good movie.
To be fair, I didn't watch it.
Okay, and also to be fair, it is a bad movie, but it is a bad movie that's not bad enough to where there's not enjoyment in it. But it is a bad
All right,
movie.
that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, like going back to like the bad movies we used to watch in high school. Were you part of the group that discovered Tucker and Dale versus Evil? I feel like you were.
Yes, I watched that movie so many times.
I cannot. If I had a nickel for every time I try to convince my wife to watch that movie, she won't do it.
It could. That's the issue. She knows it's a good movie. He has heart.
I mean that I think about that movie pretty frequently.
I do too. Not gonna lie. I'm like this. What like hanging out with my friends would be like
Yeah, exactly.
tormenting hillbilly.
On another on another note, and speaking of like back to the DeQuincy party days, were you
Yeah.
part of the group where we? I don't remember why we did this, but there was a hot minute where when we heard trains, we would run and just stand by the railroad tracks and watch the trains go by.
You told me about it. I never like it. Never happened when I was with you guys.
Yeah, that was a random, another random thing that I think it was me, Logan, and Thomas. But we just decided that most of the people had gone to sleep already, and I don't remember who came up with the idea, but somebody was like, "Yeah, yo, let's just wait until the sun comes up, then we'll go to bed." And I was like, "All right." And like there was no alcohol involved in the DeQuincy parties yet, and so I think that was the only because like once the alcohol got introduced, I don't think I ever lasted past like 2 a.m.
That
Uh,
makes sense. Yeah, no, we were like too young to have like the alcohol. So
yeah, so at the time there was like the gas station next to my house was not occupied. Like it was just an abandoned building.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure there was some alleged tagging that occurred.
What? No. That doesn't sound like us at all.
Sorry, somebody. That's
Hello? Well, it wouldn't be an episode without technical problems. Testing, testing. I think we lost him. We lost him. There it is.
the infamous phone call.
I was gonna say it's not an episode without technical issues.
Well, no, we've had a good few lately without any technical issues.
Yeah.
And I will say there was a really heartbreaking moment after I got off the phone where I thought that the 10 minutes or so that we recorded did not save, but then I saw
God.
then I saw that it was just like the audio was still processing. But yeah, so what I was saying is that gas station was still abandoned, alleged tagging, all that good stuff, and we had to have been like 16 or so. Well, okay, so
that was when I was 18.
So what what year did you leave?
2012. So it should have been 2011 because that was around when I was living in Lafayette.
Okay, so I would say I was probably like 16 or 17 at this time, and we just got the idea of let's go watch the sunrise in the parking lot of this abandoned gas station because again, I don't know if you remember too well, but like my parents' yard was like very wooded, so we couldn't really see where the sun was going to come up.
I just what I always remember about your backyard is blowing up a shit ton of fireworks.
Yeah, I was actually talking about that the other day. Somebody was like, "Yeah, these mortars are dangerous." It's like we used to tie up 8 of these and then light them and set them behind our friends without them knowing.
Oh god, that was so funny. Whenever we just go grab a little I forgot what the name of the little dynamites were.
The Black Cats.
I think so. It was just throw it at Tanner's feet. He got so mad every time.
Oh my god! Were you there when he tried to climb the palm tree?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, if you don't know, if you try to raw dog a palm tree and climb it without any like kind of protection on your hands, you will get a lot of splinters.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so we go into this abandoned parking lot and it was freezing. It was like a very rare freezing night in Louisiana. So we're like, well, let's just make a fire in the middle of this concrete parking lot, this abandoned parking lot. So again, stupid children. We just take a bunch of cardboard over to the middle of this parking lot, and we never could get it started. We just gave up and just froze. And I want to say like the first like blinks of sunlight came over over the horizon, and it's like, all right, I'm peacing out. I'm going to bed.
It sounds very much like something we would do.
And just to like throw out how much energy the other two had, I went to bed and they took it upon themselves like, we're just gonna cook breakfast in Doug's kitchen, and they never went to sleep. They just started cooking eggs.
That sounds like something that would be like on one of the times I've been there.
Well, I mean, I think also, were you there when my parents bought the Rock Band stage kit?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Okay, so yeah, the Rock Band stage kit. In those days, we weren't staying in like particular rooms then. Like we just all slept in that that one open room. I don't know if you remember the one open room that was in there.
I remember. I remember we were on the roof and we were annoying. We were annoying the people who were in there.
Oh wait, are you talking about the room with like the one window up at like where you can see like down into the room?
Yeah, that's one of the rooms we we often slept at. So yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about the room we slept in before then, where it was connected to that little makeshift gym that my parents had.
I don't think I remember that one.
Well, like that was the original room. That was the original room that we slept in. And I always remember because we had the Rock Band stage kit hooked up to that giant box TV,
Yeah.
the giant TV on wheels, and there was one morning that I want to say that we had like stayed up until like 3 a.m. just playing Rock Band, and the next morning, I want to say that my dad my dad was terrible about waking us up. I remember that. And he just like woke us up like 3 hours later and he's like, "Hey, I made breakfast." And Thomas just proceeded to pick up one of my out of tune acoustic guitars that I had and just very loudly started singing La Bamba.
It feels so much like something you would do. I love that.
I feel like we could do an entire podcast series of just like inviting people like on from the DeQuincy party days.
I mean, that would be hilarious because we've done so much stuff.
Like we've had Colin on one of these. Like he was on like one of the. I think he was on like episode 3, and I've
Yeah.
been looking for a reason to bring him back, but I don't know. You know, he's a teacher now, so I don't know if he would want to come on and tell any of those stories.
I mean, they're not that bad stories.
Well, the ones that you were available for might not have been, but the ones after where the alcohol got introduced were certainly something.
Yeah, but like, we don't have to go through those yet.
There was one in particular where my mom was deathly afraid that the cops were going to get called because so David, you remember David?
Yeah, I remember David.
Okay, so at the time he had said he had said that his parents would let him bring some alleged booze,
Yeah.
and he showed up with a milk crate. I thought he was bringing a bottle. He brought several, and none of us were of age. So we started drinking very heavily. And I don't remember who gave us the idea, but somebody said, "I know how to make liquid and nitrogen bombs." And
Oh my god, that's beautiful.
so again, a bunch of drunk children. we we all file outside, and they make the first bomb, and they set it off, and it was so loud. It was loud enough to where, like, I would say it would probably rival, if not be a lot louder than the hydras we used to make out of the 8 mortar shells. It was so loud. My
I
mom
can
came.
imagine.
My mom came running outside. She's like, "You're a bunch of drunk underage children. Quit making bombs in the front yard."
Yeah, that's why you have to use the backyard. Remember?
Well, honestly, I think if we would have used the backyard, I think the cops would have got called so much faster. Because at least in the front yard, we weren't. It doesn't look like we were hiding anything. Oh,
Oh god.
this is a fun one while we're on the story.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Was Josh Kubiak around when you were still around?
I don't think so.
Okay, so he might have started coming to the parties after you had left. But he's a very bright lad, and it might have no, I think it was the senior advanced physics class had to build a trebuchet,
All
and
right.
I want to say I was part, like, I wasn't in the advanced physics class, but I was a part of the, like, they said, "Hey, you guys want to come like help build this thing and like help test it and all that," and I was like one of the people that helped. And after the project was over, we just had this giant catapult, for lack of a better word, and we're like, it would be a great idea if we just burned this thing. Like, that would be fantastic. Keeping in mind, this thing was taller than me. It was pretty big.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And I'm trying to like find a good way to describe this, but it was very tall up and down, and then it had like two things jutting off to the side, and then like the little trebuchet part was at the bottom. But when we set it on fire, we did not realize that when you set this thing on fire, it looked a lot like a burning cross. And and after we set it on fire, I was like, we are in southern Louisiana and we've got a burning cross and we're in our front yard and we are alongside a highway. So we had, I don't remember if we let it burn or not, but I think what we ended up doing was we took like a very large, we took like a log and we just smacked it to break it down like pretty quickly. Cause I was like, if somebody like passes by and calls the cops, we could be in a lot of trouble for this.
Yep.
Oh man.
I remember when a cop pulled us over when we were running from you.
Yep.
It was
that
me
was
and Combre.
Yeah. And again, just talking about, you know, things in southern Louisiana, all the police officer saw was a black man and a Latino gentleman running away from a little white kid. And he immediately stopped that. He shut that down so fast.
Yes, he did.
He's like, "Hey, you guys get over here."
I mean, all we had was your wallet.
Well, and the thing is, y'all had my wallet, but my ID wasn't in it, so it looked even worse because I was
didn't even have your wallet. I just said that as a joke.
I thought y'all did have my wallet though. Y'all had something.
No, we were just trying to leave you behind, going to Dairy Queen. That was all. That was happening.
The one thing that I do remember is I did not have my ID because he asked for my ID and I said I don't have it, and he looked at me like he had just caught like the biggest drug dealer on the planet. I was his big fish that he finally found.
Oh yeah.
And you know, we might not get to Resident Evil Executor Day because I'm having fun with these stories.
This is just hilarious stories.
So this was my freshman year of college, and you'll remember because you were the only other person like this. But me and you used to be like the first ones there at St. Louis. Like we would be there at like 6 a.m. like as soon as the gate opened.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I lived like 5 blocks away.
Yeah, you were walking distance, but I lived all the way in Dequincy. So I don't know why I started getting there. I think what it was I just wanted time to do homework without giving away my video game time. And so like I just started getting there super early. So we were always there really early. And whenever I started college at McNeese after graduation, like I was stuck in this like this cycle of being awake so early in the morning. So one day I left. You ever leave your house accidentally too early?
Yeah.
So like I did that. And when I got to Lake Charles, I realized because like I got straight in my car, put on some music, I was jamming out. And when I got to Lake Charles, I realized how early it was. And I was like, well, I don't want to go to McNeese yet. So I was kind of just like driving around. And I pull into the St. Louis parking lot because I'm turning around. And pull into the parking lot, I turn around. As soon as I pull out, I don't know where this cop came from, but he pulled me over immediately. So I pulled over in the St. Louis parking lot. Kind of like that little side lot by where the old church building was.
Were you parked the ambulance once?
I'm sorry, what?
Where you parked the ambulance once?
Oh no! This is in St. Louis. The ambulance was at Sign World.
Yeah, but I remember you telling me you one time just brought the ambulance and just parked it there.
Yeah, that might have been. I don't remember that, but I can see that happening. But yeah, so I'm pulled over, and the cop's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And it's like, I was just driving. I was actually, I was just kind of killing time, but I'm about to be on my way to class. And he said, "Oh, so you're just driving around? Seems unlikely." And I was like, "Does it? I mean, people drive around all the time." Yeah. And he's like, with the price of gas, I don't believe that you are just driving around right now. Keeping in mind, the gas was not that expensive in freaking 2012, I don't think. But he's just.
Do we have a crisis that then?
I don't remember. Honestly, I don't.
I think we had a crisis like the year before.
Yeah, maybe.
I want to say the year before we had one.
But so again, for people that did not know me in high school, I drove a very small car. It was a 1998 green Mercedes SLK compressor.
Yeah.
Just 2 seats in it. That's it. The trunk was very small. No room to hide anything. And he looks at me and he's like, "Are you on?" He asked me just like out of nowhere, "Are you on drugs right now?" And I was like, "Bro, it's 6 in the morning." uh, no. And he's like, "Well, I'm thinking about getting a K9 down here to search your car." And I was like, "You could search the car now. There's no drugs in there." Knowing there are no drugs in there, when he started searching my car, I was like, "What if I've got drugs in my car?" Like, to this day, that's a fear that I have. Like, I know that at this moment, there is nothing illegal in my vehicle. But if I were to get pulled over and a cop would say, "Hey, let me search your vehicle," I'd be like, "What if there's something illegal in there?"
Yeah. Don't worry, I haven't been traveling with you.
Uh, yeah, he would have opened up the trunk and you would have been back there. uh, but he had me there for an hour searching my car. And then finally he was like, "I can't find any drugs. I guess I have to let you go." And I was like, "Can you just tell me why you pulled me over?" And he said, "I don't know. Turning around in the school parking lot seems suspicious to me."
Yeah. I don't think he likes you. I think that was just it. He
I
was
don't.
too nice a car.
I don't know, man. It wasn't though. I mean, you rode in that car. You know it wasn't nice.
I know. I mean, the time you actually hit somebody.
Oh, you were there when I hit somebody.
Yeah.
God, weren't we going to eat somewhere?
Uh,
I want to
I
say we were going to
think
like
so.
Mongolian Grill.
Yeah, we were going to Mongolian Grill because that was next to the Target. Because we were really close to getting there.
Yeah, it was in that little. Man, you wouldn't even recognize it now because that area has been like so developed. Because back then it was just kind of like this stretch of road in between, like the little area where Best Buy is and then Target. But like they have cleared out so many of those trees, and like there's so many hotels in that area. There's so many.
Damn.
Yeah, they even have a little roundabout circle. It's a really developed area. But
Man.
yeah, you that leads us into that reminds me of another one. Well, that doesn't remind me, but that car accident led to so much trouble. Okay, so again, you were with me for that. So
Yeah.
you still lived in Louisiana. That
Yeah.
went on until the end of my freshman year of of college. That's how long that event like overshadowed me because what ended up happening? It
Okay.
was
First the guy got out and he was like, "Oh yeah, we're fine, we're fine." Then the girl that was in there started like I think like saw like the car you were driving. I was like, no, yeah, no, we're hurt. It hurts, you know." Then the cops came.
yeah.
Then you were like, and then like everybody just we talked a little bit. Then everybody left. That's what I remember.
So I remember I was in my freshman year of high school. So this was like a year and a half after the fact, maybe even 2 years, honestly.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm walking around college and my mom calls me and she's like, "Hey, those people are suing you." And I was like, "They're suing me for what?" And they said, "Well, they say that you impacted their life and like all kinds of basically BS." Keeping in mind, I hit these people going like 15 miles an hour.
To be
Uh,
like just to give everybody a clear explanation, it wasn't a crash. It
it
wasn't
was a
smash. It was a
it,
bump.
it was a minor incident, and the people that were suing me. Okay, so what happened in this little minor incident? I barely hit the people in front of me, and that little bump caused them to bump into the car in front of them. The car in front of them, that's who was suing me. Uh, and I was
Oh,
like, "Well, how much are they suing for?" And they were suing me for $100,000.
Did
And
you just laugh at their face and be like, "I'm a college kid. What do you want me to pay you with?
well, like
With
I don't
fucking
to this
ramen?"
to this day I don't know like what happened with it because like the court system in Lake Charles that time must have been just like really like screwed up because nobody ever told me anything. Like I was waiting to get like some kind of paper or notice or something.
Yeah.
Uh, but nothing ever came until one day I got a call. It's like, hey, you were supposed to be in court today. And I was like, huh, that's news to me. Uh,
Yeah.
that's like I nobody ever let me know anything. And then they said, all right, we're gonna try to like reschedule your court date or something like that. And then I don't know if my parents handled something with that, but I never heard about it again.
Good. That's such BS.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, no matter what kind of wreck you're in nowadays, you can sue and you'll probably get the money.
Oh wow.
There was like the first accident I had ever been in was again same car. Uh, I was pulling out of Sign World, and I was in the median, like so, like wasn't impeding traffic at all, and a car came over into the median and sideswiped me, and then they claimed to the insurance that after the incident, their neck was hurting a lot, and they couldn't go to work, so they lost a lot of income. And first off, I don't know how I got saddled with that charge because they hit me,
Yeah.
but the cop said it was my fault. And after the fact, they tried to sue, but the insurance agent asked them what side of their neck hurt, and they said the wrong side. So it was basically ruled that it was impossible for that wreck to have caused their injury. And I was like, that's how the system should work.
Exactly.
Oh man. So I mean, we could literally go all day with these stories from high school.
Oh yeah, we have a shit ton.
I
We did
mean,
so much stupid shit.
and that's the thing. Like, so many people that I know said that they had like a horrible time in high school, and like all the movies that you ever see, they always paint high school as like this terrible thing. But our high school was pretty nice.
I mean, I remember. I mean, I'm not gonna say like it was like the most amazing thing ever, but I had a lot of fun. Especially like chilling with you guys, playing games, doing really stupid shit.
Yeah, well, and I think that like St. Louis is also one of the rare high schools where you weren't just like an outcast for being a nerd.
Yeah, I mean it is true. I don't know how true it is like for just in general high school. Because you remember I went to STM for a couple of years. Wait, not for a couple of years, for a year, and I
Yeah.
never got any shit for being a nerd or anything.
Well, see, that was a big like not being made fun of for being like dorky and liking nerdy things. That was like a it was a big deal for me because like my schooling before that, I went to school in Sulphur, and
Yeah.
I was the only nerd in the entire school. I think like everybody else was like very like that they were all from like Vinton, and they were all into like the 4-H and like all the farm stuff, all that good stuff. And I mean, like I loved country music and you know and like all that stuff too. But like they're just like, oh, you like video games, nerd? And I was like, well, that's what I like, man. Uh,
I'll tell you this much, which I'm pretty sure is true. They're just in the closet about it.
yeah. And just to show you how far back the stigma goes, like I got made fun of for being the gamer kid, but then they're like, oh man, we play the new Call of Duty's coming out, and I was like, man, that franchise just really goes back, and the jock like asshole culture that far back.
Oh yeah.
Like, and not to say anything negative about Call of Duty because they have a lot of good campaigns and a lot of
I don't
bad
think it's
ones.
the Call of Duty's fault. Not gonna lie.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I don't think it's Call of Duty's fault. Uh, I didn't think it's Call of Duty's fault at first, but if you play Call of Duty nowadays, they are leaning into they are they know their audience.
Oh yeah, I know that. Like they know how to sell. I mean, they got an audience. I think they were surprised to like see like the audience, and they were like, "Well, shit, I guess we're gonna sell to them. They're buying."
Yeah, I didn't know how bad it was until I okay, so I got the Backbone controller and I downloaded Call of Duty Mobile because
Yeah.
first off, not a whole lot of people are playing with the controller on their phones. So if you have a Backbone controller, go play Call of Duty. You will feel like a god. I got like a 20 kill streak in my first match.
Godly.
I got MVP multiple times. Not my own horn. There was like this mode in it where I don't remember the name of the mode. I think it was like a zombie mode. But they're like, "Hey, this is a boss round," and I was like, "What's it gonna be? Like a big zombie?" And it was like some kind of science experiment go wrong. It had like neon purple lights around it, and it was like a giant like turtle slash crab hybrid. I couldn't even tell you what it was. But me and the other players in this match, we shot this thing for, I'm not lying, we shot this thing for 20 minutes before it died.
Oh wow.
It was absolutely ridiculous. And we died so many times, but we just kept, we would respawn and we would keep shooting it. And it's, it's the closest Call of Duty's ever come to Dark Souls, if I'm being honest with you.
So just like you like it,
So what now?
just how you like the games.
Well, I can tell you one thing: I never played Call of Duty Mobile after that. And also, but in defense of Call of Duty Mobile, I quit playing because like right after that was when my Steam Deck came in.
Oh, you got distracted.
Yeah, and like I still have my Backbone, and I will break it out sparingly. Like the other day, I was playing the Infinite Wealth, which I've beaten now, and I'm debating doing like a full fledged like written review for that one just because I loved it that much. And
I think you might as well go for it.
so I was I was playing that, and that like every game in the Yakuza franchise, there are select moments where you can save, and from what I could tell, it's just Yakuza Zero that has the phone booth. So like this game was pretty good at saving, but I was still at a point where I could not save. So and one of my kids wanted me to play Fortnite with them, so I just slapped the Backbone onto my phone, and I loaded up GeForce Now, and I was able to play Fortnite that way, which is a really good compromise.
Yeah, good save.
But yeah, uh, I'm actually getting close to my destination. So we're going to go ahead and put a pin in this for now. Next week, we will actually do Resident Evil Executor. We just
Yeah.
we got in the weeds with the stories, and I don't regret it, not one bit.
Oh, I don't either, dude. It's such a nice little walk through memory lane.
All
So
right,
much
well,
stupid shit we did.
yeah, and you
God.
know, I'm legitimately uh, gonna consider inviting a few people from those days to like just do like a podcast where we just do like the Quincy party memories.
Yeah. Just one random memory. I just remembered us playing sardines. You seeing a snake and you like, nope, I'm out of here.
Oh my god, that snake! That was when I realized that I was afraid of snakes, because like before then I didn't think, like I like never thought that I was afraid of them, and then there was this massive snake, and I was like, yeah, I'm afraid of snakes. As it turns out.
Oh, do you remember what happened next?
Yeah, I remember that I went to the golf cart and I was like, yeah, I'm done playing. And then David got on the golf cart and drove right back to where I saw it. And I was like, y'all can look for that snake all day. I'm not getting off this golf cart. And,
We all went to go look for it.
and I was like, as a matter of fact, I remember I got in the driver's seat, and I was like, if I see so much as a hint of a scale, I'm leaving all of you behind.
That was so good. That was so good.
Oh man. So as always, Leo, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me, dude. I
And
love this shit.
thanks to you guys for listening. See you, everybody.
See ya.